Well, it's kind of going along those lines. Oops. So
We
can you
are
hear me?
streaming. Yes, we are streaming live now on
Okay.
YouTube.
So, I haven't really considered a cash deal before. Um, I've looked at sub two and hybrids, but I'd kind of like to go over all cash if there's any possibility of that, whether it's I did I mean the underwriting to me kind of identifies the deal, but I don't know. I have an opportunity in California for my daughter, but it requires cash. And so I'm looking at it as a owner finance, but I'm not sure they'll take that. So what do you do in a cash situation? Is it purely PML or how do you negotiate a cash deal?
Well, you always want to pitch cash before you pitch terms. And that's also
Well,
why
I'm not talking about big discounts like 70%. I'm talking about if that is not an option because the house is in pristine condition, brand
okay,
new.
so basically it's like you would be buying it basically the top of like ARV then.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
But it works out with the good because even if I were to buy it for personal reasons, it still works out with a reasonable monthly spread as a rental. Um, but only if we can get 0% seller financing, and I'm not sure they'll go for that. So, I don't I've missed that on the training. I guess I haven't looked hard enough in the vault to understand cash deals other than wholesaling, but buy and hold cash deals. Is it just a matter of having your own money available or your own um,
So I'd say since it's for your daughter, I mean, if you're pitching cash, typically cash is a lot less than what you're gonna buy it for, what they're selling on the market. So,
yeah, because I was gonna say, is it off market?
no, it's on market.
On market? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe
it's
just a
probably
regular
not something to
loan.
waste people's times with on this Zoom because it hasn't been on the market very long. So they're not, I've got to call into the agent, but he hasn't replied yet, but I'm just kind of trying to prepare myself for options because I'm guessing that because number one, it's like brand new there's no fixing or repairs required, even not even lipstick. And it's yeah, so it's new, it hasn't been on the market long. There aren't a lot of options as far as negotiating, right? Other than just asking if the seller is willing to finance and going down that road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you
real quick.
haven't even had that conversation. Sorry, Dylan, you can take that over, but I would definitely make sure you have more than one exit strategy, like we always talk about. Like, okay, like you'd want it for like your daughter, but if she ever doesn't want it, would you want to long-term rent it out or short-term?
Yeah, it does underwrite for long-term rental. There's no problem with that.
Okay.
So it does underwrite for long-term rental. I always, even when I've been looking for homes for myself, I always look to see first if they're a good investment before I even consider them. And then once I see that they underwrite well, then I figure out, okay, how am I going to go down the negotiating road? But I have never done a cash deal. And the only way I can figure it out is to get a conventional loan. And we don't want to do that with the high interest rates that it is. And there are no other options, right?
Right. So yeah, Robin, I would say, like seller finance deals are pretty hard to come by. Obviously, it's going to be a distressed seller or a tired landlord. Like those are your really two candidates for seller finance. Besides that, someone selling a brand new home with no work on it. They're on market and they haven't been for very long. It's just unlikely they take seller finance, right?
Yeah.
Like most people don't understand that unless they're an investor themselves.
Right.
And then also knowing it, could it be sub two? Do they have a loan on it? Do you know that?
No, no, they don't have a mortgage.
Yeah, that's pretty
It was
clear.
paid
Okay.
for cash.
So really there's two ways you can negotiate a turnkey home that needs no work. First one is you could say, I will be unrepresented, or that agent can represent you for a discount, right? So if that agent's listing commission is 6%, which if it's in California, they don't owe anything, more than likely it's 6%. What's the asking price?
510.
510,000. Okay.
Yeah,
So
which is reasonable because in looking at comparable homes, most of them are higher than that. They only owned it for a short period of time. Their original, according to PropStream, their original price their purchase price was $490. So they're not trying to make a home run.
Right. So yeah, your only two options with negotiating are going to be negotiating the agent's commission. Say, hey, if I represent myself, which you totally can do, we can help write purchase and sale agreements. That can hopefully eliminate 3% off of the top of the purchase price, which isn't much. It's around it's 510, you said?
Yeah. It's $15,300 for 3%.
Yeah, so maybe you can negotiate 15.3 off of the top of it. And then another thing too, a conventional loan, the only way you're going to go. A PML is not going to fund it for your daughter to live in. Can she qualify for an FHA 3%, 3.5%?
I think she looked into through USAA, which does VA FHA loans, and she thinks that she can get it at 7.5.
She's a veteran.
No, her dad was. That's why I'm not sure she can do it. I haven't I don't know, but given if she was able to get a loan, she thinks she can get it at 7.5. Whether that's real or not, I'm not sure.
Right. So that's the other piece of negotiating is, hey, can we put, maybe that $15,000 into a rate buy down? So it's definitely possible if you can negotiate, hey, I'll give you your asking price. I'll represent myself if we can take 3% off of the purchase price or leave 3% in escrow to go towards a rate buy down.
What's a rate buy down?
You can negotiate with mortgage lenders like, hey, I'll give you, certain amount of points, right? So maybe 3 points of the purchase price, $15,000, can go towards buying down your interest rate.
You mean like a down payment on the house?
It's so instead of the down payment going towards the principal balance, it literally is just going towards like, hey, like it's kind of like a side deal between you and the lender. Hey, what if I give you 15,000 instead of 7.5? Can you give me 7 or 6.5% interest?
And then they get $15,000 up front to do that rather than gathering interest over time.
Right.
Okay. So they figure, okay. See, I was thinking of putting that into the seller's cash.
I would
the loan lower.
The first step, Robin, is talking to a lender.
Okay.
That's all you can do, really. I would say is talk to a lender. Because you have to know, if your daughter has not even spoken to a lender to see how much she can qualify for, if she can qualify for a VA loan, any agent, buyer's agent that you work with to start buying a home, that's the first thing they do because they're not going to start showing you homes unless they know you're qualified for them.
Right.
So maybe co-sign. I'm not sure how it would work if her father is a veteran. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they have a program where she can utilize his entitlement to purchase her primary residence. But a lender is who you need to talk to.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate your time on that. Thanks.
Yeah. So I can't see the polls anymore. Rach, I'm guessing it's still underwriting and finding deals, identifying deals.
Oh, sorry. Yes. It's underwriting and identifying. I didn't end like the poll, so you should be able to see it.
Okay. Yeah, usually it pops up on my screen, but oh well, yeah, I think it's better to kind of go more into identifying deals. Obviously underwriting and identifying deals kind of go hand in hand, right? Like you have to
Dylan, now
find
see
a
if you
deal.
could see the poll.
I
Sorry.
can see it. So yeah, we're pretty split. It seems like 50-50 underwriting and identifying deals. And then comping. All three of those things kind of go hand in hand, right? You have to first find a property, but you can't really identify a deal until you underwrite it and then you know it's a deal, right? So um, we'll go over that. I'll share my screen. So everybody should have privy or be pretty privy with privy. Oh no, I just closed it. So for us, again, we've gone over this a lot, right? Like I would say if you guys are looking to do your first deal, whether it be wholesale, wholesaling a creative deal or a fix and flip, the markets you guys need to look in are going to be affordable markets. We are in a downturn economy. So markets like, Denver, Colorado, certain parts of California, Phoenix is still a pretty good market, but it definitely is inflated. Definitely certain parts of Florida, right? Like those markets can be so expensive and they're inflated, right? Like home prices are too high, even though interest rates are very high. People still, it's been 6 months, have not, priced their homes accordingly. So I still think that in the next couple of months, the Fed is going to raise interest rates again. There's nothing major that's happened to help our economy. We're still in an inflationary period. Home prices are still too expensive for people to afford. So, making sure you're looking and trying to identify deals in affordable markets. And by affordable, I mean the average home price is going to be under 350,000, ideally under 250,000. Brian asks, is it better to do deals virtually if you live in markets with high income prices? I would say yes. It always depends, right? So now I just have this poll stuck on my screen. Okay. So yeah, like we live here in North Denver, right? Finding a deal here is extremely difficult. I mean, average home price is around $500,000 and then average rent here is 2,500. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense versus if you go to like, let's see, Raleigh, North Carolina, average home price is probably 350,000, but again, still average rent is going to be around 2,500. So you have a $250,000 difference there. Same goes for, Cincinnati, Ohio is also a great affordable market. Rents are still doing great in that market, but your average home price is probably, 150,000, 250,000. Same thing for parts of Tennessee, Oklahoma, Georgia, North and South Carolina, certain parts of Florida. You can definitely find affordable homes, but yeah, if you live in a market where the average home price is 5, 6, 700,000, finding a deal there is going to be very difficult unless it's a cash deal and it needs a decent amount of work and you can wholesale it as a fix and flip, but you're still going to have to get it at 50% of what the ARV is. So I would definitely say, start targeting these more affordable markets. And we've done in the past a top 10 cities or top 10 zip codes that you guys should target. But all over Texas is great. I mean, Dallas, Fort Worth, there are so many investors trying to buy rental properties in Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, all of these major areas. So San Antonio, Corpus Christi, we've had a lot of deals come in Corpus Christi. So, you know, Louisiana, same thing. I would say really focus on this Midwest area and these Sunbelt states, North, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. So again, 250,000 and around that is your sweet spot. So yeah, so I don't know your name. I would encourage you guys to change your names if you haven't already to your actual name. So Pancho, maybe that's your name. The Fed just announced they were going to raise interest rates at least 3 more times for longer periods of time, right? So the market is not going to improve anytime soon. So, you know, first time home buyers are being priced out, right? Like we were just talking about it with Robin, a 7% interest rate on a $500,000 home. Like, let's see what that is. $500,000 at 7%. This is just principal and interest, right? Is $3,300. The average person, the average family is not going to pay $3,300 to live in, you know, a $500,000 home. They're just not. A lot of people are going to move to areas, right? Like, look at that. Literally, your payment is cut in half by you cutting in the price of your home. So many people are going to do that. Here's another crazy thing. So a $500,000 home, right? Let's say at 3%, 2108. That's pretty affordable. When I bought my house in March of 2020 here in Colorado, my loan was for $420,000. I have a 3.5% interest rate. Look at that. My PITI, or my principal and interest, is $1,885. Unfortunately, my taxes are insane, but just take a look at this. Okay, so remember, let's go back to 500,000 just to use round numbers. So 500,000, and we'll go back to 3% is 2,100. Okay, so I'm gonna just make some notes for you guys. So 500,000 at 3% equals, it was 2,100. Okay, and that's just principal and interest again. So obviously, like, where you buy and taxes are important. Purchase price. Cool. I got people raising their hands too. I definitely want to get to your guys' questions. Let me just finish this point, right? So 500,000 at 3% is 2,100. Let me go back to, okay, now let's see, rates are at 7%, right? So if you're at 7%, 3326. $3,326, somewhere around that. Okay, now let's look at a $250,000 home. Let's see how much this home price is affected by interest rates. Okay, so 250,000 at 3% is 1,054. Okay, so obviously very affordable at 3% equals 1,054. Now at 7%, 1,663. So our payment went up by $600. So again, 250,000 at 7% equals, it was 1,664, I believe. 1,663, 1,664. So look at this difference, you guys. So a $500,000 home, literally your payment goes up by more than $1,200 versus a $250,000 home, right? Your payment went up by a little more than $600. Okay, so that's why it's so important to target these. You know, especially it's crazy when you start getting into these $700,000-$800,000 homes. You know, your interest rate can almost double your payment. So again, 700,000 at 7%. who's going to be able to afford a $4,600 payment? That's not including taxes and insurance, right? So now 3%, 2,900, right? So your payment literally almost doubles at that price. So that's why it's so important to target these more affordable markets. Let me go back to the questions. Robin, you have another question?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I'd left my hand up.
No worries. Poncho, am I saying it right? Is it Poncho?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
Hey,
got him.
yeah, so thank you and hi everyone. I'm here in Riverside, California. And one of the things I'm noticing is exactly what you're saying about the decline, right? And it's mainly due to, I mean, buyers are not realizing yet. I mean, sellers are not realizing yet that we're in a decline market, especially, I mean, they still want to get, the same terms that we're getting with lower interest rates, higher house prices and whatnot, right? So one of the challenges that I've seen is exactly what you were saying about seller financing, right? I don't know if it's due to our market, but I'm not seeing like many people really being open for terms around here, right? It seems like whenever I talk to anyone in other areas, it seems like the more rural areas, that's where you get better terms, right? And even though I'm in a place where, I mean, I'm in the Inland Empire, so it's not as fancy as LA or San Diego, I'm still not, I'm really having a hard time finding those people. So I'm curious about, because me just looking at these calculations that you're doing just makes me wonder. And well, and of course you mentioning these other markets just makes me wonder, is it our market that it requires more effort and more time and just have a bigger pool to get to those motivated sellers? Or is it just, I don't know, just maybe something wrong, the strategy, right?
Can I add to that and jump in a second? Because I'm also in California.
Yeah.
I was talking this week to a number of different realtors, and I've been shocked that homes are selling above market.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, and when I questioned a realtor who was more friendly about it, they said, they said California has not felt the crunch of the increasing interest rates, which, Dylan, looking at your logic is absolutely perfect. But for some, I mean, years ago, when my family first moved to California, there was a saying that back in the early 1950s or 1960s, whatever you want to say, the East Coast actually raised about 1/4 of an inch and all the nuts rolled down into California. And I'm beginning to think that's true because the market is still got these cherry colored glasses on here. They homes are selling for above market. And
Yeah.
I asked, I said, with the interest rate rising, haven't you felt any crunch at all in selling homes? And I'm asking the realtors this, and they said, no. It blows me away.
Yeah, I
I'll
would
stop
say
talking
a lot of realtors, sell maybe one home a month. The vast majority of realtors, there's a big thing in sales. It's called the 80-20 rule. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of it. 80% of the agents sell 20% of the home, 20% of the agents sell 80% of homes. The vast majority of agents that you speak to, one, don't understand investing at all. They, at least residential agents, they have no clue what a real estate investor is looking for. They just think every investor wants to, steal people's equity, buy homes at 50%. A lot of agents think investors are bad people, but that's because they sell one home a month, if that. you know, maybe one home every 2 or 3 months. The average agent earns $30,000 a year across the country. So they don't really have their thumb on the market like they think. They work in real estate. Pace always says this. They actually, I forget the term he uses. They don't work in real estate. They work for real estate, meaning they're just a service agent, right? So versus like a real estate investor actually works in real estate, right? But an agent is more just a servicer, right? They're kind of like a waitress, if you will. No offense to any agents, but they you know, they don't have their thumb on the heart of the market like a professional real estate investor would. I wanted to pull this guy up too. We always joke he needs to change his name to something more memorable, but I would highly encourage all of you guys to go follow this guy, Reventure Consulting, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. This guy is releases a lot of content about you know, different markets, what investors are doing, home buyers are doing, developers are doing. And as you can see, right, obviously there's such thing as clickbait in our world. So he probably gets more views talking about how bad the market is. But if you actually watch some of these videos, he breaks down numbers. This guy actually looks at numbers. So he had an Instagram post that you know, areas like California, Phoenix, certain parts of Florida are seeing as much as 60% decrease in investor home buying, which for agents may not mean much, right? Because investors typically buy off-market properties, but for investors to literally, if you see investor, any industry, right, 60% of the investors leave that market or stop doing what they're doing, it definitely is scary, right? Like, investors are great for the economy. That's why a lot of these red states, they realize that, because they help increase the amount of homes that are for rent, and it averages out the rents, right? Versus, you know, like California, right? You see 60% of investors leave. That means there's not going to be as many rentals. That means rent can be increased, right? And then if they put laws on these investors that they can't increase their rent, again, it's just going to decrease the amount of rentals in their states, and their economy will crash. I mean, I strongly believe in that. Like, just look at this builders report, massive cancellation, 68% drop in home buyers, right? So I will say that from my experience, what just happened? Talking to agents, we do a lot in, like I said, Texas, South and North Carolina. There was definitely a dark period from, I would say, September, October to December. And then, you know, that's when the Fed really increased rates. But since November, the Fed has not increased rates. So home buyers, you know, it's kind of like, they got very scared. Home buyers, your average home buyer got very scared of interest rates going up, so they stopped, right? But once they flattened out, okay, interest rates haven't gone up, the market started to come back a little. So like January, February, you know, mortgage applications increased, showings increased, the amount of offers these agents saw increased, the average days on market decreased, right? But that's just because people got so scared of the market, and now it's kind of flattened out, so people are going to go back into it. But again, once it comes up, the interest rates come up, home prices are going to go down. We're going to go straight back to that period. Brian says, I've been speaking to a lot of agents recently, and half of them are setting unrealistic expectations for their sellers and end up sitting on market for 4 to 5 months and selling at 100K below asking. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the average agent, you guys have to understand that maybe if you're new to real estate or you've only been doing it for a few months, the content that you guys are absorbing is at a way higher level than what it took these agents to get their license. I'm sure Angie or Dom could attest to this. what a lot of agents learn in real estate school when they're going to get their license is what is basically illegal and not illegal for an agent to do. They don't teach them about investors, interest rates, like cash on cash return. They don't teach agents that. They teach them, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. This is illegal. You get your license taken. So many agents are afraid to even talk to investors because they think they're going to get in trouble for not being a fiduciary responsible person for their seller. So I would say, like, even if you've been in real estate for 6 months learning real estate investing, you probably know just as much, if not more, than the vast majority of agents. Obviously, Angie's been an agent for 16 years. Angie, you've been an agent for 16 years, a broker for 7 years. How much of a difference do you view real estate since we've started doing this investing for the last 2 years?
Oh, it's completely different.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. That it's just most agents don't understand, don't know, and their brokerages don't allow them to do
Right.
certain types of deals. So it all depends. That's why we kind of started our own brokerage, because the one we were at, we were selling a commercial building and they didn't want to allow us to do it. And then when they did allow us, they wanted to take half of our commission. So I was like, oh, I'm opening up my own.
But yeah, I would highly encourage you guys to watch this guy. He's going to share a lot of insights and numbers. He probably will scare you about what is going to come. Like just every thumbnail he has, right, looks very scary. So I wouldn't say, obviously it's as bad as maybe what he's depicting, but definitely he's a numbers guy. He's looking at the data, what's going on across the country as far as real estate investing activity, your average first-time home buyer activity, what's going on with realtors, so layoffs, right? So there's going to be a lot of layoffs coming up. There already has been a ton of layoffs happening. So Sessing says, I'm an agent. I'm learning more than learn more by being here than at my brokerage. I appreciate that, Sessing. So that's why I would say these affordable markets is just so imperative. Like, I really highly encourage you guys to, if you're in California or Denver, right? Like, I would do some virtual wholesaling, start buying in these different states. Colorado just released an insane bill that's up for a vote that is really going to hinder what landlords can do as far as evicting tenants, increasing rents. So for me personally, I will never buy, maybe not never, but I will not be buying rental properties in Colorado anytime soon. Same thing with California, Washington, Oregon, New York, New Jersey. Just these states are just not investor friendly. So you're way better off looking in Texas, the Carolinas, Georgia, parts of Florida, like Miami is way overinflated. Tampa is overinflated. Oklahoma, Ohio, Indiana are great markets. Tennessee, Louisiana are great markets. Because if we see a crash, right, like these homes up here at 700,000, they might come down to 500,000, possibly 400,000. But these $250,000 homes, they might go down to 200,000, maybe 150,000, but not much more below that. So you're a lot safer investing in these states. Now, if you just plan to wholesale, right, you don't care what these laws are, right, because you don't plan to hold, right? Wholesaling is the same thing. You're going to be selling this to people that have the same mindset that I do, right? So if I'm an investor and I'm buying a lot of deals from wholesalers, I'm going to ignore Denver. I'm going to ignore California. I'm going to ignore Tampa and Miami, because I know I see the writing on the walls, what's going to happen. So don't want to scare you guys, but yeah, I would say, $250,000 range is ideal. 3-bed, 2-bath is what is going to run the economy for the next 2 to 3 years. So make sure you guys are hunting deals in that area. And then I guess back to your point, Pancho, too. So seller finance in these markets like Denver, California, parts of Florida, Phoenix, right? These sellers are so used to appreciation, right? Like they bought, like, same here. I bought my home in March of 2020 for 436,000. Check Zillow. I'll show you guys what Zillow thinks my home is worth now.
All right, everyone, this is Nick from Reventure Consulting, and this is a video I wasn't really planning on making, but
Nick, that's what he needs. He needs to change his name from Reventure Consulting to Nick Knows Homes or something like that. 074 Dawson Street. Okay, so my Zestimate went down. It's at 584. It was at like 630 the other day, but 584,000, right? So for me, like here, sold in March of 2020 for 436, and over these last 3 years, right, I've seen over around $150,000 in appreciation. Same thing in California, right? Like these highly appreciative markets. I'm not going to sell my house at a discount. You know, I probably wouldn't sell it on seller finance. I might sell it on sub 2. But I'm not going to sell it on seller finance for less than 6% interest rate, right? And same in every other market, right? The average person probably, if they sell on seller finance, if they're not an investor, they're not going to sell you their home for 0% interest rate. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, we got really lucky. Angie and Dom found it for us. So we got really lucky. We had them on our team, and we bought it at the perfect time. March of 2020 is right before COVID hit. I literally almost backed out because I did not know what was going to happen, but thankfully we pulled the trigger, and those next 2 years really appreciated. So
hey, Dylan,
yeah,
is that the house that you house hack?
yep, that is it.
Nice.
Is, yeah.
Nice.
We turned we have, so there's 3 bedrooms. We turned this loft right here, so we closed off this wall. This is my brother's room. So me and my brother bought it. My room is just behind this wall, and then we have a bedroom, bathroom right here, and a bedroom back in this corner, and then a bedroom back in this corner. And then I don't know if it shows the office. Yeah, we have an office, a first floor office that we also converted that into a bedroom. So I have 3 tenants / roommates all paying basically for my mortgage, and me and my brother split whatever's left. Usually around $800 to $1,000 is what's left. So we pay $400 to $500 a month to live in this really nice home. We have a 2-car garage. Yeah, we got so lucky, man. I really feel blessed.
Yep, you are. This gentleman we're doing our midterm rental with right now, he has 6 fourplexes and 2 duplexes all here in the Fort Lauderdale area. And he is now house hacking the rooms. He's putting bunk beds in each room and renting it out to, mostly kids, either all male or all female. And it's doing great. He's booked out.
I love it. Yeah, that's a great idea too. Right now it's hard. We've, over the last 3 years we've been doing it. We finally have like a good mixture of people that live in it. So like during the week, we don't really see each other. And then during the weekend, we'll watch sports, watch the movies together. So it is a good scenario. But I'd say for anyone that is younger in here, like if you're not married, you don't have kids, house hacking, if you guys don't know what that is, I would highly encourage you. There's a book called House Hacking. I forget his name. Yeah, yep. I actually did a Zoom meeting with him before I bought my house because I wanted to know more about like how to identify a house hack. But I would highly encourage you guys to look into house hacking if you guys have not heard of that. If you're younger, it's such a good idea. All of my friends that are getting into buying homes with their girlfriends or whatever now. I still like highly encourage you, you know, like everybody, obviously you don't want to live with roommates. It's not ideal. Yeah. Craig I think it's Craig Kurlop, something like that. But imagine you have someone, right? Like, let's say you can afford your 3-bed, 2-bath home, right? You have maybe an office and then a guest room. Like, have someone pay you $700-800 a month for that room. Like, sure, it's not ideal living with a roommate, but if you can afford that, like, you have no problem paying your bills, you're putting money in savings. Like, have someone rent out your room for $700 and go lease a brand new Mercedes if you want. Well, you know, like, you can do so much with that money, or save it, put it into a self-directed Roth IRA, right? Whatever. That's just kind of my, you know, what I think about it, right? Like, if you can afford your home, you're making enough money to where you're not worried about bills at all. Like, go lease a brand new Mercedes Benz if you want, you know, like, that's the power of house hacking. So, that's just where my mind goes. I'm a car guy, but, so yeah, so back to seller finance, right? Like, I want to show you guys. So we were looking at a deal in Texas. It was in Dallas. The seller would sell it to us for $140,000. He wanted $30,000 down, and he would not budge on that, which is why the deal fell apart. It didn't make sense. Even then, I still think it made sense, but he wanted a 5% interest rate, right? The home was renting out for $1,800, and he wanted, if we gave him a $30,000 down payment, right, that would be $90,000 was our payment, right? Like, look at that. We could afford to pay this guy 7 or 8% interest rate and still cash flow the property like crazy. So the cheaper markets you go, the higher you can afford to pay seller finance. So if you guys are really hunting seller finance deals, like, again, 250,000 and under is your sweet range. Like, it's just not going to make sense at a $500,000 purchase price unless they're willing to do 0 interest rate, which I'm sure if any of you guys have hunted for seller finance deals, this is very hard to come by. 0% interest, and the vast majority of people are not going to finance you at 0% unless you maybe offer double what their home's worth, you know. Which is a strategy. Overpay for the home. You'd rather overpay for the home than pay interest. But so JR says, how can I get trusted boots on the ground? I have a property under contract. Tenant just got evicted. Lockbox on property by PM, property manager, but property has been broken into, and PM is not the best at responding. JR, there's the most amazing Facebook group. I don't know if you're part of it. It's called the Creative Real Estate page, or a Real Estate with Pace Morby. I would highly encourage, if you guys aren't a part of this group, go and join this group. There's 80,000 members. Yeah, 83,000 members. Obviously, there's going to be some shady people. There's going to be some people that don't know what they're doing. But if you're looking for boots on the ground, right, there's so many bird dogs. In real estate, there's a term, it's called bird dogs, right? This is people that want to get into real estate. They don't know how, but they're willing to just be your boots on the ground. They're willing to door knock. They're willing to cold call for you. So I would just make a post in here like, hey, looking for boots on the ground. I'll offer to pay people, you know, anytime I need someone to go look at pictures or go take pictures of our property. I'll make a post in here and say, hey, I need boots on the ground in, you know, Memphis, Tennessee. I will pay you $250 once the property closes, and I'll teach you how I'm getting this deal done, you know. So many people will probably do that just for the knowledge that you're offering, not even the money, but obviously money helps too. So yeah, I would say make a post in this group. Ashley says, Dylan, is the new Colorado tenant law apply to short-term rentals too? Not necessarily. A lot of I still don't know a ton about the tenant laws. I just know I'm not going to be buying Colorado, but a lot of the tenant laws are about evictions. So short-term rentals, you typically don't have to evict someone, right? Because they're there for a short period of time anyways. So yeah, like if you're looking to buy in the mountains for an Airbnb or something, I would say, you know, the laws probably aren't affecting you, but obviously the counties are putting pretty strict regulations on short-term rental licenses and all that. So make sure you're up to date on those. But yeah, so again, back to seller finance, right? Like if you guys want seller finance deals, like target these cheaper, more affordable areas. There's also, right, if you guys think about like who are the types of people that would do seller finance, right? An investor that is, their goal is to 1031 exchange, right? So if you guys don't know what that means, it basically means I'm going to sell my property, take all of the profits and put it into a new, bigger investment property. And a 1031 exchange, basically you don't have to pay taxes on that money because you're moving it from one asset to another, right? So that type of seller is not going to do seller finance. They're just not, because they need all of their money, right? So your average homestead buyer, right? Let's say it's a couple in their 30s or 40s, they're looking to sell to move, maybe they got a new job, right? Again, they are probably not going to seller finance their property. They want their money to put as a down payment on a new home. So if you guys think about who is your ideal seller finance seller or client, it's going to be tired landlords. So people that are up there in age, they own, you know, anywhere from 3 to upwards of, 3 rental properties. They're used to cash flow, and they're up there in age. They probably don't like fixing toilets, screening tenants, right? But they're used to cash flow. They like passive income. But maybe they just don't want to be a landlord anymore. So that's your ideal seller for seller finance. Just the best line is, hey, why don't I turn you into the bank and I'll be the landlord? Or like if you're talking to someone that has investment properties, what do you plan to do with the funds once you sell, right? A lot of them plan to live off of it, right? Or go buy some jet skis or, ride off into the sunset, whatever they want, right? But a great line is, well, why don't we give you a down payment so you have some money to play with, and we'll turn the rest of your equity into an investment. We'll attach an interest rate to it and pay you passive money over the next 15, 30 years, something like that. So there is Ashley, I mean, I would highly encourage you to rethink about buying rental properties in blue states. Politics aside, right? Like, I'm pretty neutral. I tend to not care too much about politics. I care more about, the people around me and increasing my business to be that financial person that can take care of any of my friends and family. That's where most of my attention goes to. Tired landlords. So if you guys look in Privy, there's actually a filter for tired landlords. Look at this, run search. Look at all these tired landlords. So Alabama is a great state, right? $70,000 for this home. Like, you could pay this guy probably, this home probably rents out for, I guess, $600 to $700, $600 to $800 a month, who knows? But you could afford to pay this guy probably a 7% interest and still cash flow. Certain parts of Georgia, right? Like, look at all these tired landlords. So these are people that own multiple properties. They've owned them for a really long time. And these are active on the market, right? So go to Privy, hit the tired landlord button, and start calling these, right? These are going to be great deals for you guys to call and pitch seller finance to. Let's look in Texas, right? So 400,000, that might be a little bit too expensive. That's a newer home. And then another great filter too. I know a lot of you guys don't have PropStream, but for those that do, I just want to share this filter with you. Or if you have Batch and PropStream are basically the same program. So one of my favorite filters that we run is, right, let me just type in Chattanooga. Did I spell it right? No, I did not. let's do Jefferson County, Alabama. Okay, so 324,000 properties, what I'm going to look for. You can do this with off-market properties or on-market properties. So I'm going to check non-owner occupied. I want occupied, right? That means there's a tenant in there. Property characteristics. I'm going to do residential, single family. I mean, you can probably do all of these. I'm going to uncheck the multifamily 5+. I'm looking for 3-bed, 2-bath minimum, MLS status. Let's do on market, active, and then I don't want for rent. I just want for sale, right? Now ownership info. Minimum years of ownership, right? We're already down to 126 properties. So let's go to 15 years. 7, okay. Let's go to number of properties owned, 5. 7, okay. So, or no, minimum is 5. 1 property. So, I mean, you know, obviously that's not a lot. You can edit this filter too. So maybe we could do, you know, maybe just, yeah, any bed bath count, but there's 4 right there. These again are just on market, right? There's going to be a ton more off market, but this is a rental property that these sellers own. They've owned it for 15+ years. And they own 5 or more rental properties. This is your ideal filter for pitching seller finance. So I would highly encourage you guys to go to Privy and hit that tired landlord filter, start calling these, and then you can even filter this down a little bit. Let's see. So we're looking for tired landlords. Let's see. Yeah, filter doesn't have a ton of different, or Privy doesn't have a ton of different filters that you can pick from. Yeah, like I wish Privy you could do more like, you know, how long they've owned it, how many properties they own. But that is probably what this tired landlord button is filtering. So that's for your seller finance. And then obviously, if you guys are looking for low equity, right? Low equity deals are huge right now for sub 2. So I'll show you guys our filter. 80% LTV. This is one of our favorite filters. And I'll show you why. So if you guys, wait, Ashley says, Dylan, if I would only have software to find deals, would you recommend Privy or PropStream? Thanks. Personally, I would recommend PropStream. But it's going to be more expensive. It's a little bit harder to use. There's different positives and negatives of each. Privy is really good for comparing and comping properties. But for me personally, I use PropStream way more than I use Privy on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, Champagne said that's my market. Yep, that's why I'm looking there too. I just know that's a good market, Champagne. Like there's affordable homes. So maybe try that tired landlord filter or this filter. So this is one of the best ones we use. You don't get a ton of properties in this search, but again, we're looking for residential, single family, multifamily, 3-bed, 2-bath, for sale. So we're looking for on market, active, right? Not pending or contingent, anything like that. Owner type individual, and we can actually change this to owner type. You can do corporate as well too, or mixed or trust, doesn't matter. Because we're talking to an agent anyways. The biggest part of this filter that you guys want to check out is this loan to value. So that's down here in valuation and equity. Loan to value being 80%, meaning their loan is 80% of their value. And that just basically means they have little to no equity. These are great candidates for sub 2. And then if you want to filter it a little bit more, I just want 1 mortgage. I don't want, a second position HELOC or anything like that. And then again, we're really just looking for conventional FHA and VA mortgages. So highly encourage you guys to run this filter if you have Privy or sorry, PropStream or Batch. Privy doesn't really have a low equity, I don't think.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Let's see. But that being said, you can still find low equity properties because it will show you, right? Like if you're looking at on market properties, let me just reset, run search. So let's look at Oklahoma. Let's look at Tulsa. I'm just picking these at random. So let's scroll in here. Okay, so Privy will show you, right? I'm just clicking on these at random. This is why it will take a little bit longer, but you can see, right, public records, mortgage history. It's not showing me a mortgage history, property history. So, but yeah, like click through these and you can find the ones that have, right, like mortgages still on them. So let's see mortgage history. So yeah, this might be a good one, right? They have $103,000 mortgage balance. They have an FHA with 4.5% interest rate, right? Like you could take over their mortgage, put maybe like 10 to 15,000 as a down payment and then seller finance the rest of their equity at, you know, a 3% interest loan and still cash flow this property. So Pamela asked if we have an affiliate link to PropStream. I don't think they have an affiliate program. I'll have to check into that, but in the meantime, yeah, I would say still, if you guys are considering getting PropStream, I would highly encourage it. It is more expensive, so you know, for anyone in here that has not done a deal, for anyone in here that has not done a deal, again, I highly encourage you guys to not quit your job, to not hire virtual assistants. Don't start buying a ton of these softwares and programs. Your best bet is to be a bird dog for someone. Get in touch with someone that you know is doing deals, you know, and try to add value to them. Say, hey, what can I do to add value? Can I door knock? Can you give me a list of pre-foreclosures and I'm going to call them? Can you give me a list of low equity on market deals and I'll call them for you? The right mindset to have when you guys are getting into anything, real estate investing, drop shipping, you want to start your own business, the right mindset to have is you want to shadow someone, right? So you don't want to sit there and pick someone's brain. Don't ask someone to take them out to coffee and pick their brain. Ask to add value to them for free. That's what I did with Dom and Angie. I told them, let me come work with or for you guys. I will work absolutely free. I don't expect you to pay me anything. I want to learn what you guys are doing. I want to try to add value and increase your business. And then once we start seeing some money and come in, pay me whatever you think I'm worth. Swear to God, that's literally what I told them. And it's worked out. I would say over the past year and a half that I've been working with them, like my knowledge obviously has skyrocketed. My learning has accelerated. You know, it's just, that's the right mindset to have, is to offer to work for someone for free. You know, obviously do that at your own risk, right? We don't want to see anyone go into foreclosure or, you know, start missing payments on anything. But if you guys have that opportunity, I would say, you know, shadow someone, see what they're doing, add value to them, make them money first before you ask them for money. So I don't have much more to go over. Does anyone have any questions you guys would like to ask? Or Rachel, if you have anything you want to add?
I don't think I have anything to add. I think you definitely did a good job explaining, joining like a team and shadowing people, because I think that's the easiest way that you can scale to quit your 9 to 5 job if that is one of your goals to do so. Joining a team that definitely people have done it deals, definitely highly recommend doing that. I just will put in the chat again on Angie's podcast. It'll be nice if you guys can support Angie and Dom on that.
Yep. Right on. Okay. So yeah, we're going to call this one. If you guys want access to this Zoom and come back at a later date, if you go to YouTube and type in Miss Angie Milanazzo, we are live right now. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to Angie's YouTube channel. Oh, she's already at 511. So yeah, make sure you guys come subscribe to Angie's YouTube. From now on, all of these Zooms that we do will be recorded and stored on her library here. So you could just go to videos, and you can see this last Zoom is that the one we did on, that says 2 months ago. We just did one on Tuesday. I don't know where they're at. Oh, it looks like she has a lot of them uploaded here too. But yeah, so make sure you guys subscribe to Angie's YouTube. Check us out on the Grow Giver podcast that will be happening here shortly. Rachel just posted the link to that in the chat. We'll have another Zoom on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Or no, 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m.
Yes,
Eastern.
2 p.m.
No, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
yeah, 6 p.m. You're right.
PM Central and 3 p.m. West Coast Pacific. So thank you guys for showing up. I'm going to stop the share. If you guys have any questions or need any assistance throughout the week, I will post my phone number in the chat. Feel free to reach out, shoot me a text. Let me know if you guys need anything. In the meantime, have a good weekend. Hope you guys can make some phone calls, get some deals under contract. Right on. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Thank you.